Okay. Hey, Dr. Madison. This is Brooke, and I am sitting here with my coworker, Rachel. I chose her for my interview. She has close to 15 years experience in the education field, so I thought she would be perfect for this. I did give her my print off of this to kind of go over. That way she had a heads up if there was anything she wanted to talk about at the end. So I'm just going to read through everything, and then at the end I'm going to give her time to see if she has like anything she wants to say. Okay. So I used to believe that discourse was about how the teacher can prepare lesson plans better, but I know now that discourse is about how to properly apply methods to the communication and learning that happens in a classroom setting. One, classroom discourse is a vital because in the first slot I put classroom discourse is vital because it is what drives teaching, learning, and thinking. It is not just about talking, but is there to build and challenge our knowledge. Questions that are open-ended and are challenging can stimulate peer discussion by pushing students to analyze and evaluate ideas. Student participation can also help students' critical thinking skills, self-confidence, and increased motivation. For number 2, I put classroom discussions with higher and lower ended questions are vital because they support a wide range of learning goals. Not only can they help assess how well the students are understanding concepts and principles, but it also lets us see who can apply what they have learned to real life. And number 3, I put setting up classroom discourse is also very important because it gives us insight into how students are processing information, and this allows us to identify misunderstandings and adjust instruction as needed. By mixing questions to meet students where they are, students have a way to enter the conversation and grow at their own level. And all 3 of these I got from my conclusions from just different articles we have read throughout the semester and some slideshows. 2, classroom discourse strategies. For my first one, I put Oxford tutorial method. I put the Oxford tutorial method involves small group discussions facilitated by an instructor who emphasizes on using our critical thinking skills, communicating, and questioning. Number 2, I put nonverbal communication. And then nonverbal communication strategies in the classroom involve using body language, facial expressions, gestures, eye contact, tone of voice, and other physical cues to support or enhance communication without words. These strategies are essential for creating a supportive, engaging, and well-managed learning environment. And then I did dialogic teaching. Alexander's dialogic teaching methods are helpful in the classroom because they shift the focus from simply delivering content to actively engaging students in meaningful dialogue. There are 5 principles which are collective, reciprocal, supportive, cumulative, and purposeful. All of these strategies in these categories are there to encourage talk to be more purposeful and more inclusive. Okay, 3, readings that shape my learning. For the source type for my first one, it was natural bridges and interpersonal communication. And my quote was, "We can't always choose our circumstances, but we can choose our attitude towards those circumstances." And then I put choosing to see the best in others fosters positive communication and relationships. For my second one, it was from an article, Basics of Nonviolent Communication. And my quote was, "Nonviolent communication is a language of compassion." And then nonviolent communication is there to help us understand our triggers and how we can work on them. It also helps us try to see human needs on a deeper level so we can better understand each other without criticism. My third one was vulnerability for troubled times. And then my quote was, "Knowledge is power, yet who holds knowledge and what forms of knowledge are valid and valued?" My argument was disrupting power dynamics in learning spaces is at the heart of vulnerability. This is when an instructor aims to create equitable, inclusive, and transformative learning spaces. 4 learning experiences that shape my understanding. For the first one, I did the OTM fishbowl method. What I learned about OTM was it made me realize that listening is just as valued as speaking. It is great for controversial topics and allows a chance for everyone to hear part of the conversation. And it also helps keeps the discussion intentional. What I learned about my own practice was I really enjoyed participating in the activity. I do not do well with one-on-one debate, so for me, being able to build on one another's ideas was fun. I still need to work on my confidence when it comes to speaking in group settings. The second one was when we do breakout rooms. And what I learned from the breakout room discussion was small group breakout rooms typically lead to more honest and creative conversations. People are more comfortable in small group settings. This usually leads to more diverse insights where students can build on each other's thoughts. And what I learned was that it went very well for me this semester. I felt comfortable speaking with only 1 or 2 other people, and I felt like I still got to speak my points, but it wasn't with overwhelming feedback. All right, 5 key terms. So some key terms that really stuck out to me was the Socratic method, and that is the method of inquiry and instruction employed by Socrates, especially as represented in the dialogues of Plato and consisting of a series of questioning, the object of which is to elicit a clear and consistent expression of something supposed to be implicitly known by all rational beings. The second one was dialogic, and that is a form of discourse involving back and forth exchange. And the third one was monologic, which is one-way communication that is often teacher-led and with limited student participation. One of my key questions was, how can I encourage active participation in student-led dialogue without relying on visual cues like hand raising or eye contact? And then how can I structure assignments so that visually impaired students can engage critically and independently? And for my final answers, I put that I want to use discourse in my classroom so that my students can feel like their voice matters. I want them to feel like their ideas and opinions are being heard so my students can practice on self-confidence and trust their own learning process. And then one thing I wish to develop in my own discourse practice is to just make sure I am valuing the process of thinking and discussion and not just the final answer. And that was everything that I had. So now I'm going to give Miss Rachel a chance to see if she has anything she would like to add, any feedback. So I'm going to let her talk.
Hi. I think Brooke did a really great job of explaining the importance of classroom discourse beyond just talking. And I really enjoyed listening to this and hearing everything, because as teachers we are lifelong learners and we are always looking for new ways to present material and to get our kids involved, because they're not going to learn if we're just sitting there talking at them and expecting them to sit still and listen. They need to be active participants in their learning. I like your point about mixing higher and lower order questions, because that way you get all of your kids to feel successful. The lower kids can feel successful with the lower questions, and the stronger students with the higher order thinking questions. And then all of the kids are learning from each other. So it's a whole classroom family. So the kids all feel like they're part of it. It shows that you're thinking about engagement and equity and differentiation in the classroom, which is a big thing right now. It's very important. As we know, every kid learns differently. Every student has a different home life and a different way of thinking. One suggestion might be to include an example to show how you implement these types of questions in a real classroom. But but overall, I really think your reflection demonstrates a thoughtful approach to meaningful and inclusive dialogue in the classroom. For your second one, the classroom discourse strategies, I thought everything was clear and well organized of the 3 instructional strategies. I liked how you highlighted the role of the teacher, just not as the deliverer, but as a facilitator in thinking about dialogue. The teacher is helping the kids to think and learn as they go. And again, not just standing up there and talking at them, but making them active participants. Your description of nonverbal cues was really effective. A great reminder that communication goes beyond words. For number 4, which was your learning experiences, I really liked that you were honest and self-aware. I have a big problem myself with talking in front of other people, like one-on-one, except for kids, but in a group of my peers. So it's nice that you recognize that in yourself so that you can grow as a communicator. And I really liked that when you said that listening is just as valued as speaking. It's really important that we're listening to our kids and that they are learning how to listen and respond, how to think critically. And feeling more comfortable in small groups also shows that it's important to create spaces where all the voices can be heard without pressure. So I think most people feel more confident in small groups. Plus, when you have just one big conversation going on with the whole class, ideas tend to get lost and things kind of get off track. So keeping it in that small group helps to structure your lesson. And then for number 6, your key questions. One thing you might want to try using nonverbal cues or structured turn taking, like passing a talking object or using name cards to encourage participation, or digital tools like discussion boards for older kids can help kids contribute without relying on visual cues. And then exploring alternative assignment formats like audio recordings or tactile learning materials that still align with your goals. But overall, I thought it was very well thought out and very well organized and easy to follow, and kind of helped me remember my why. So thank you, Brooke.
Oh, I love that. Well, thank you for your time, Miss Rachel. And Dr. Madison, that concludes my interview. Thank you.